Hello everyone and welcome back to another 2v2 game in Starbreakers and my journey through the Defcon 2 tournament. In our game number 2 against Snowwolfie and Jake, we were able to successfully win the first one, as I think we got a good pick and ban there. This time around we are up against the 19th Mutterstralke and the 31st Tankovi, so two divisions from the DLC. We have CLKA and Second Panzer Grenadier on our side here, and they have a lot more tanks, so this is going to be interesting on a map that likely favors that as well. And I'm going to talk about this a bit in a short while, but first, let's talk about Warner League Season 5, guys. 29th of September, this league is going to start. 25th of September, we're going to end the sign up. So if you want to get yourself into it, do that now, as we also have the slots filling up relatively quickly. You can find all the information down below, and we already also will change quite a lot in Season 5, improve it for both viewers and spectators. And one of those things that we will improve is having a newsletter about what's going on in the league. And the first volume of the Wano Dispatch, written by the great Fat Kid, who is helping out with all of this, is out now, where we also go over all the other improvements that are going to come with Wano League Season 5, as we have a good couple of plans for Fantasy League and the basic stuff in general. So if you haven't want to see that, check it out down below. Linked down there in the description and the comment section as well. But let's get into the action here now, as second Panzer Grenadier and CLKA. Those are kind of the max number of heavy tanks that we could get, as all the heavy tank divisions, they banned the same divisions that we banned in game number 1. All the heavy tank divisions are out. So it is down to 4 Leo 2A 4Bs from CLKA, which at least got a second card of those, helping out quite a bit. And 4 normal Leo 2A3s and 2 Leo 2A3 leaders. So we have 10 heavy tanks, heavier than the good numbers of T-72s that the other side gets. And then a lot of Leo 1s, but those are outclassed by the enemy T-72s. And the T-55 M1s are actually capable of dueling with them quite nicely as well, as they have max range. So this is going to be interesting. Enemy units mostly form around in the north. Well, split up on our side was me mostly in the south, and then trying to help out towards Gulf, and Stahl around Delta and Gulf. So, because pushing deep into Echo is quite far, and I used the helicopter of the CLKA to protect this area here, because if you can get control of these buildings, then you are in a pretty good spot. Enemy moved around here with some recon, but didn't really go deep. MiG-29 coming around, Phantom on the other side, flying in there. Going deep now, trying to shoot down the MiG-29. Second Phantom comes around, gets the kill. That's a good trade. MiG-29 more expensive than the Phantom. Second Phantom gets a hit against the MiG-23LL, doesn't dive because coops and so on can be around. Well, defensive positions are set up in the north. Milan 2 gets a shot against the OT. We have Jägeraufklärers, we have Fallschirmjägeraufklärers, infantry coming around, the commandos, nice special forces that you get with CLKA. That's a nice advantage over Second Panzer Grenadier. You have some special forces infantry in there. Whilst we see T-72 OB 81s here, the 17 frontal armor, 19 pen, T-72s rolling in. And at the same time, we did use Chandra's side flanks here a bit, as there are nice side roads here that lead close to the enemy spawn that go in both directions. So you can do the same here in this direction. And we went with some Fallschirmjägeraufklärers on both sides there to do that. Doing a bit of a cheese. It's Fallschirmjäger and Milan's here trying to hold the line. 1 Leo 2A3 around here. 1 Leo 2A4B down in the south, as we weren't quite sure where the enemy heavy push would come. We expected an early heavy push. It is coming in the north. Smoke coming around. Milan 2 gets a hit nonetheless against the T-72 here. B-Man does keep the smokes coming. That's the strength of the B-Man. Can get the T-72s into good range. Milan 2 finds another angle though. And finds another hit. T-72 here gets hit pretty hard. And has to disengage there. OBR gets hit pretty heavily as well. Milan 2 finds the kill. B-Man comes around a bit late. And that's a good kill there on one T-72. And another one taken out of action. So the enemy's chances of making a breakthrough here somewhat limited at that point. A lot of trucks getting sold on our side. Good couple of trucks sold on the other side. Enemy brings around the cluster rocket artillery in form of the Prima immediately. Pretty close to where we bring in our Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer. Lots Me-Too's have to disengage. Phantom comes around. Cluster does get a martyr. The second martyr here getting hit quite a bit as well. Whilst Leo 2A3 and Jaguar 1 having to disengage. Leo 2A3 moving in onto the battlefield there. BO 105 and Leo 1V's coming around as well. Milan gets the kill, gets the BMP2, has to disengage here, but good kill nonetheless. And the enemy set up good pressure here. Snowwolfie comes around with the T-55 AM1s as well. So all the Leo 2 A3s getting brought around by Stahl. Leader immediately follows up as well. M110 coming in there. I bring some of my Leo around, bring some BO helicopters as we expected the push to come a bit quicker, but the T-72 kills did stop that. Motostrelki trying to cross the open field here, get pushed back, disengaging back into the forest, and the Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer here get to unload, really close to the Prima, not quite on top of it, and enemy units come by. Prima gets killed. Iglas under attack here now as well. As immediately a lot of helicopters come around to try to kill that. Prima immediately disengages, so won't be able to get that. And there come the helicopters. As the Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer are in trouble. Maljutkas still passing by here, allowing the Panzerfaust 44 to maybe get another shot. The Panzerfaust 3 gets one more and gets both Maljutkas, so pays off. Gets a lot of reaction from the enemy. Second Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer got to unload as well. Didn't really get close to the front line just yet though. But good damage there. Our little side flank did a job. If we would have gotten the Prima, that would have been really helpful though, because that thing is scary for our tank formations here in the forest, and we will have to put on bigger tank blobs around here because the enemy puts bigger tank blobs on the other side. Luckily, we have good tools there as well. That's one of the reasons why we picked these two divisions. Both bring the amazing 203mm M110 onto the battlefield, and those can deal a lot of damage. CLKA has a cluster M270 rocket launcher as well, so our artillery park is really nice as well. The enemy has done us. The M110 here comes in, trying to strike enemy infantry and the BMP2. M110 of Stahlbrecher comes in as well, hits the BMP2 already. Well, it's enemy light infantry here in the center. We hold the center town, that is a nice one as well. You can put nice ATGMs around here. Can put some recon up, but the flank in the north is super scary, and the enemy just will have so much more tanks than we have. So whenever we lose a Leo 2, it's kind of devastating. So we, because replacing them is impossible. T-72 losses on the other side are obviously somewhat painful as well, cost-wise, but they can replace them. And yeah, we just have to be real careful with our Leo 2s. Though, if we keep the Leo 2s around the numbers, they can one-shot and kite the enemy tanks quite efficiently. So the enemy has to get rid of them as well. Prima is reloading. Shooting towards the Leos here. Dana tries to hit the round there as well. Leo 2A3 comes in there. 1A5 once immediately disengaging. As we luckily saw that one and got out of there just barely before the explosions hit us. Leo 2A3 is all surviving as well, dodging the Prima shots there. Helicopters got rid of this as they scout the flank, costing the enemy time and effort. Whilst our M110s get some Iglas. Some of the Strelkies go down in the building over here as well. So yeah, some nice kills here. M110 start to generate value. As the enemy artillery power not as strong just yet. More Leo 2A4Bs, Pioneer with Carl Gustavs coming around as we try to push forward with the Fatima Aufklärer, trying to figure out what's going on over here. The cheap, somewhat slow but cheap YP-48 moving around. Well, it's the Aufklärers move around here as well. Commandos getting in onto the battlefield. OH-58 moving around. Fatima Aufklärer goes down. And yeah, MR10s keep on firing here. Shooting towards enemy last known positions. Trying to kill some of the Strelky. MR24 gets hunted down by the OH. OH gets killed in return. BO-105 goes down as well. That's a bit annoying. We only have one Ihawk there so far. More are needed. Stingers coming around here to protect against some helicopter openers like that. On the flank, Phantom has to disengage just to coup. Immediately tracks on it and gets the hit. And more 10s here. Hitting all around the battlefield. Getting a kill against the Motostrelki. Enemy artillery trying to get rid of us as well. The Dana, really good artillery, but only one artillery piece out so far next to the Prima. And we have 3 big guns right now, so artillery advantage is on our side. Whilst we get Leo 2s into the middle, Leo 1s need to be repaired. So currently the situation is relatively stable, but a lot of T-72s coming around, and the enemy just has some more tanks. MiG-21 MF trying to run on top of our helicopters. Gets the OH actually, but gets shut down, so not an efficient trade there. Our AA defense is good enough. Artillery tries to get rid of the enemy recon. Good reaction there from Snowwolfie though. Keeps the RT unit alive. Good recon is key, but at the same time, our commando special forces infantry gets into the forest, and the enemy special forces recon here not as strong. Infantry pushing forward. The 19th has some special forces infantry, which is not half bad either, but only can come in helicopters and is a bit weaker in the combat than the commandos with the sniper rifle and 2 max. Like, this is great firepower on the medium distance. B-man here, posturing around. Leo 2A4B trying to find it. Whilst Ihawks are on the way to get the air cover here going on the south. Leo 2A4B pushing all the way through here. We realize there is an infantry unit there. It's only a Saperi, so it's not the end of the world. Enemy helicopters here coming around from the flank as well. Mi-17 here, jammer, helicopter, and also second helicopter. Really cool looking. Really cool looking helicopter. Like, in its weirdness. Like, it's I like the paint job. I don't like the cylinders on the side. But yeah, Soviet engineering. Right there. Or hacked engineering at least. M110s keep on shooting here. And we have a MiG-27 K-AT on the battlefield. And the issue of the Leo 2s is they still get one tapped by AT planes like this. So smoke is necessary, but smoke comes a bit too late. MiG-27K gets hit by the Gepard in return. High Hawks not unloaded just yet, as I brought them in without that to be able to turn off the cell so that they can keep the truck around so that we can reposition them. And yeah, losing an M1 Leo 2 like that, really painful, not really generating any value. Artillery here helps the infantry pushing through, Fallschirmjägers and commandos keep up the pressure. But there are a lot of T-55s around. Infantry pushes around here, Leo 2A4B trying to push forwards towards the T-55s, whilst the Fallschirmjägers and Pioneers hold the northern flank. T-72B gets involved, BMP-2 gets involved there as well. Leo 2A3 trying to get some hits, as the enemy infantry tries to cross the open field as well. And big smoke blobs coming around. We keep the pressure onto the center. Leo 1Vs go down though, and a lot of the infantry here gets hit quite hard. Cluster artillery comes in now. M270 does get some good hits there, but doesn't quite get the kills just yet. Gets the T-55 there. One more decent hit there, and gets both T-55s, allowing our infantry there to push a bit harder, as that means no tanks around here anymore. AT MiG-27 coming around again. We get the MiG-23s here that dive pretty deep. As the MiG-27 comes around, both MiG-23s go down. We lose the unit in the center, but we get the MiG-27 this time around. And that's an annoying loss, but it's at least a trade, and the MiG-27 23 kills, that is pretty helpful. Wildweasel seaplane went down as well though, as we try to run down the enemy here and help in the airfight of that. Infantry still stuck a bit here. We are at 98 points, at just barely not enough to get a full win. Only a draw, but artillery here now hitting the enemy CV. That is a nice kill, and that would allow us to get the full control over the zone if we can move in there. M113 gets rid of the enemy's transport over here as well, allowing the infantry to push forward. Trying to get rid of all enemy units in there. Well, the enemy invested way more in the defense in itself than we did, and that may be a bit of an overinvestment here from Snowwolfie, as otherwise they maybe could have pushed through the north, but obviously they didn't know where we would put our resources into it either. So yeah, doing a good job there. Infantry versus Streltsy. Only one mech on the Carl Gustav ones. 2 MGs here on the Streltsy, so the Streltsy's winning this fight. Well, whilst we try to get the CV into the zone here. Infantry under fire. CV gets in. Enemy brings the special forces in there. And yeah, Streltsy versus infantry fights here continuing. CV gets the capture. We're more than 100 points ahead now. That is nice. Leo 2A3s and Martyrs pushing forward. We get the B-men. We lose a Leo in the north though. There's a lot of forces coming around there. Big pinks here towards these guys. Leo 1V coming around, following the Pioneer Carl Gustav that tries to scout out that position. Gets hit and misses the enemy Svatava here, but second shot does do the job. Able to help out now against this recon unit here as well. And yeah, CV had to move out here as the enemy now gets theirs back in, but we have the 150 point lead. That's a victory if it stays like this, so the enemy has to now actively push into us somewhere. We get a BMP2 kill. Yeah, the enemy sets up bigger pushes up there again. MR10s are around, plus the artillery is around. Trying to shoot down the enemy CV here in the rear again. Me too, URP. Get hunted down by the Gepard. Grenadier pushing in there. As they also move over the open field, just trying to find some value there. Leo 1V moving around. Gepards get the kill. Artillery hit the enemy CV, which immediately disengages. Good stress damage there, but no kills. Leo 1v goes down. The recon units over here have to be careful as well as T-72s push towards them. And without the Leo 2A4Bs that went down in the center, it's gonna be harder to get the kills here. We have some Leo 2s here, but the T-72s need to be dealt with before we can get back in there. Artillery is aiming for them here. AA coming around, trying to prevent the enemy from doing too much shenanigans. Phantom flies too close to the sun though. At least doesn't die. T-72 dies to the M110s. If you say one standing still, you just hit it with artillery. Snow Wolfie has to keep them moving. MiG-29 goes down, flying too deep as well. So enemy luckily made the same mistake there, but this is a big problem. This is a... if these guys get in here, we are in trouble if they can push into the zone there. So need to keep the pressure up. BO-105's going down there as the enemy Eagles push forward. They bring helicopters around. They bring the T-72Bs now, which have the long-range severe. Really annoying for Leo 1s and Martyrs. Can one-shot the Martyrs, even the heavier ones. And also still deadly for our Leos. So we have the Leo 2s. Cluster artillery comes in here, takes out a couple of Transportpanzer Fuchses. Luckily doesn't kill any tanks, but the pressure is real. New reinforcements need to be brought up. Both of us here now active there, bringing in commandos. Whilst the south, pretty silent for both sides. Primas comes in, trying to hit us to at the spot where we retreated to. Leo 2A3 takes some damage, but doesn't go down, as we get a T-72A killed off in the north at least. Still pushes over here. Our infantry stuck in the forest without much support right now. Only artillery coming around for us. That still generates decent value, but the enemy currently with just the more numbers, and that's what I was scared of when we got into this game. The T-72 numbers here are a big problem now, and we need to figure out a way to cope with them. Cluster, for example, trying to kill the T-72B, gets the kill there. That is pretty helpful. One less there. And yeah, the artillery park on our side is quite nice. One more Leo 2A4B coming in for the center here, as the enemy has 4 T-72s here in this area of the map, and another 3 up north. We still have a good amount of Leo 2s on the battlefield. The remaining 2 Leo 2A4Bs here in the middle. Leo 2A3s rotating back north, whilst M110s try to help out with the enemy infantry. The special forces here now in the forest get hit quite a bit as well. As they should be able to disengage. Dana trying to hit us in return. T-72's infantry all setting up. And yeah, silence on the front and the south. Enemy could have put pressure on us here. We obviously would have been able to react. We still had a decent force here. We had some helicopters. We had some ITOs in a good spot. Good enough recon to see any movement relatively quickly, but still would have to be able to move it in. And yeah, move units around. The BO-105s was the plan to hold the ground there for a bit. F4FHE coming around here, getting on top of the Streltsy. Gets hit by Ado, trying to get out. Will make it out alive, killing off some infantry there, buying some time as the Streltsy coming in force. T-72B gets hit by the cluster, doesn't get killed, but the M110s and the cluster artillery keep on the pressure on the side here, so that the T-72s can't just roll in numbers and break through. More T-72s coming in on the other side. Acacias and Danas have arrived on the battlefield as well. As we stack the forest here right now. Enemy maybe should have gotten more artillery at this moment as well to just hit that. Cluster comes around. This T-72 moved out. Gets the recon infantry actually. Nice little kill. Not the end of the world for the enemy though. That's commandos. Just hold the forest in the middle. As yeah, we have a small lead. That's nice. BMP2 under attack by artillery. And more tents. Keep up the value. Milan 2 gets shut down on the other side though. Strikers coming around to get some ATGM positions here. Pioneer Carl Gustav goes down. As we need more capture points here to make things secure. And get a good lead online. Only 16 minutes. Enemy gets a lot of smoke around. Big back and forth here on Chandra. With the map zones being quite far in the rear. It's not that easy to get a take on this map. Whilst the M110s keep on firing away here now. Trying to shoot down the enemy there in the north. Cluster artillery aiming for the enemy artillery. That did move though. M110s aiming for enemy BMP2s. Fox goes down. Mandos moving up to try to help out. Danas and Acacias keeping up the damage whilst we set up a bit of an artillery, a bit of a push in the center, but T-72 numbers here are good, and a lot more is now rolling in for north. A lot of BMP2s, a lot of infantry, some bigger artillery pieces here as well. The 203 millimeters that you can get with 19th. And so, yeah, Danas and Pivonias here coming around in force. Our commandos trying to hold the flank here, but they are struggling. BMP2 goes down. BMP2 number 2 goes down. So value is generated again. Leo 23 here, not in range for the T-72. Can generate a bit more value there as well. As the enemy brings around the cluster artillery again. And all the modders driving towards it are in a lot of trouble. The Leo 23 leader has to be careful there as well. Smokes off. But luckily the Prima hits are a bit off there. And they only deal good damage. They don't quite get the kill. Leo 23 gets the kill over here. Gets heavily damaged. But the Leo 23 is sold. 1 T-72 down again. And that's the big news there. Meanwhile, attempt of mine in the south. Seeing that they invested a lot into the north. And seeing that my units might not be the most helpful. I considered trying to get in here in the south. But there was quite a bulwark here. Good amount of infantry. M110s trying to help out there. With artillery fire, but good movement there on the side of Snowwolfie. Getting out of it for the most part. Artillery still deals a bit of damage. Still stuns down the enemy. OT-65 goes down. As commandos and Leos try to push over the open field. Modders go down in the north. This is a problem. Enemy big force here is around. T-72 gets hit pretty hard. The M110s are close to the front line. Get another kill. And each kill of these T-72s is just a big one because the snowball of those things could break us really quickly. But luckily currently the enemy doesn't quite have that. Streltsy with RPG 27s here trying to push onto our tanks. Does miss. SU-25 comes around. Does deal decent damage. Highhawks out of ammo here right now. MI-24 comes around as well. Get rid of some of the units there, but are still pretty far away from actually getting through there. TOW 2 unit trying to hit the T-72. Does miss. T-72 now can react. Smokes off. And gets away. Tornadoes and phantoms around here. Not quite sure what the plan was there, outside of getting hit and getting killed. Yeah, T-72M1 at least goes down in the north there to some artillery fire once more as well. Cluster getting involved towards the north, where there were some Yesterkas. Phantom HE gets pushed back, and here comes the big enemy infantry push. And our infantry numbers have been reduced a bit. We still had a decent number of units here, but a lot of enemy BMP2s pushing forwards. Martyrs under fire. Whilst we start to get some kills there with the cluster, but yeah, the big infantry pop in this forest here is something that 2nd Panzer Grenadier has a bit of an issue with. So yeah, more Panzer Grenadiers coming in, more artillery coming in, and more tanks trying to deal with the enemy tanks. We lose the CV over here, but we get the zone neutralized for a bit. Leo 1V here going down in the south as the enemy push here continues. Artillery able to get some hits out there, but we are in a bit of trouble right now, not trading efficiently. The enemy engineers and Motostrelkis push through here against the Martyrs. BMP2s able to get some good hits there, dealing some damage. Milan 2 at least gets one of them killed off again. Seaplane trying to get some kills in the center. F-16 cluster goes down before it can get a good drop. Mi-24V at least goes down in the south, but the enemy counterattack here will clean this forest now. Martyrs go down. Helicopter gets some kill. We only had 188 points, and that is really not a big lead. Leo 2A4 gets hit pretty hard there by the T-72M. Gets some damage in. We get some more infantry moving forward. Artillery getting involved here against the enemy AA. Coop under fire. Gets hit there. And gets killed off. So enemy AA situation reduced quite heavily there. But the big infantry fighting plop here in the north, that is a big issue. OT-64s with the heavy MGs coming around. Commandos trying to hold the line. Gepards trying to hold it there. Infantry pushing forward. Dealing with them with the Carl Gustav, but just too much infantry there. F5 HE gets a bit of damage. BMP2s get dealt with. The T-72K in the smoke. And Stahl gets a hit, but doesn't get the kill. And the Leo 2 then gets shot because it had to rotate the turret around the full way. And yeah, T-72K now aiming slower than the Leo. So the Leo will finish the job, but the Leo 2A3 leader sacrificed for it. Enemies started to get some points here. Still not enough to really get a W. Whilst our infantry here pushes forward. T-72 M1s go down across the board. We got some kills onto some here with the ATGM units in the south. As 3 more come up for a push here. 8 minutes remaining. Infantry trying to push through here. Artillery did deal pretty well with a couple more in the center. Enemy infantry there goes down. MR10 really doing a good job. Enemy Akatsias and Pivonias not as involved here right now. That's a bit of a mistake there. Whilst Jägerführungs coming up. MR10 doing a good job. We now have 2 more howitzers. 155mm howitzers out as well. That try to deal with enemy T-72s where we can find them. Whilst more and more infantry and CVs here being brought up north. Cluster artillery coming around again. Trying to get some kills around here, but the enemy is actually at a different spot. This was kind of blind fire, expecting the enemy to maybe set up a push there, but we get the T-72B nonetheless. Leo 185 there with a final shot. The ones in the middle are an issue. Artillery trying to hit the T-72s that set up over here as Mi-24V rocket comes in, trying to deal with our forces down here. Already shot its big rockets against the units over here, but yeah, the pressure comes up. T-72 comes up. Forces need to be brought in. BO-105s and a Hawk infantries, ATGM vehicles all coming around. As the CV that got brought in here with helicopter actually tries to maneuver around a bit as well. Ito here in a decent spot still. MI-24 gets shut down. Not quite getting the shot off here against the D-72. That would have been big with a side shot there. Not quite getting the kill. BO-105s moving around to try to stop these BMP-2s. As we have the Hawks as well. Ito helping out. We get the kill there. MiG-21s pushed back, and the cluster bomber does go to get a good shot there against the T-72, stunning it down, allowing the BO-105 there to get some more shots on target as well, stunning them down and killing them off. Whilst we spot the CV here at the same time. This would have been big. This is a +1 zone as well, but we didn't have a CV close by, so capture there could have gotten them quite a decent take for a bit. And that stopped that. So now it's all about the big push in the north. And yeah, this unsupported tank push in the south came maybe a bit late. If it would have come a couple minutes earlier, that would have been really scary. Doesn't mean the crisis is averted though, as more T-72s here coming around the north. And our Leo 2s have dipped a bit. We still try to get into the center here. Still try to get some kills onto CT-72s over there. Hog moving around, pushing back the enemy infantry. So the enemy is vulnerable in the south. T-72 M1Ks trying to come around. M110s. And the artillery over here. Setting new shots up. T-72 goes down. Smoke artillery trying to come in. Trying to allow the Iltis to get in there into the center zone and just capture it. These M110s need a reload. Whilst enemy infantry push was halted for now by combined efforts here, setting up more units in there. Harrier HE coming around. And we have more defensive units here with strikers and YPRs on the defense. Even with Leo 2A3 trying to rotate around. We get a CV in here. That's a +1. And we will try to get a couple more points there. Wizard Curry pushing in there. Trying to get some kills. We have a Leo 2A4B and a Leo 1V around here against 2 T-72s, couple of BMP-2s pushing forward. Tanks engaging our Jäger Aufklärers here. ATGMs can move a bit around as well here, trying to help out. Nonetheless, getting good hits there with the AT. We kill off the enemy recon. Iltis tries to stay in the smoke. We are up nearly 200 points now. That's a decent lead, but yet the smoke artillery here is a bit slow, and the Iltis moves the wrong direction there as well. As it's 155mm artillery that does smoke and not smoke mortar or small artillery, so the shots between the salvos is relatively long. T-72 in the north goes down. It's the Leo 2s there trying to finish them off. Get hit as well, but get rid of one more. And Pioneers and Infantry here holding the northern flank. As enemy clears out the zone, moves back. We have a couple of Stingers, a couple of infantry units here. T-72 M1K trying to rotate around. BMP-2 gets shot at, gets hit, and gets killed off. As the CV units now try to push through. M113 trying to stop them. We spot this now. We have to stop it. If this moves in here, we are once more in trouble. So CV tank is coming around for this part of the map as well. M110 trying to find the enemy CV. It is not there though, as we try to move in another CV tank as well. 50 cal getting involved. SU-25 rocket gets shut down. We lose the Ito over here though. Igla on the fire here. As modders go down, F-16AA goes down. We get the first CV here. Second CV gets HE bombered. Only one remaining. We have a Leo 2A3 around. We have Itos over here. Can try to deal with this. T-72 M1K does get out of there for now, but the Leo 2A3 is coming for it. And we get a CV in here for a bit. T-72 M1 coming around. Smoke blocking them there a bit. Commandos moving around. Got some good kills against one T-72 that tried to push through here already. Leo 2A4B trying to get a shot out. And yeah, the smoke system in this game is a bit weird with who gets to aim first. Enemy gets the shot there. Commandos aim and shoot though, and we get rid of the T-72. Artillery tries to find the enemy CV. It's not around there anymore. And yeah, Tornado AT comes around, gets a kill to another T-72s. We did do a good job so far. Enemy coming around with one more smoke push. Only 48 seconds though. We are more than 200 points ahead. So even if they take the full zone here, with only 80 points per minute, that won't be enough. And that means we win game number 2 here as well. A really, really tough fight. A couple of mistakes there, but we did play the push towards Gulf correctly for the most part, and the defense in the north was not 100% smooth, but we just kept the T-72 numbers low enough to keep the game going. And yeah, all the T-72s there now get shot as well. CV only pushes through the smoke, stops the tick, but that doesn't matter. We have the advantage in points. We did get the push through there, and M110s and iHawks did continue doing their job here as well, keeping the sky clean and keeping doing damage on the ground. And yeah, Stahlbrecher in the end there with great KD, good bit coming from the last final pushes there that just were doing it, but the enemy had to do it. Doing a decent job there in this game. M110s didn't quite get as many kills as hoped for me, though the ones of Stahl got quite a couple of T-72s. I only killed one of there, but I still did do good damage. Forced the enemy to constantly move, killing off a Dana, killing off a good couple of Motostrelkis, so that's not half bad. Cluster did get its money worth as well. Killing one T-72, T-55s, killing off a couple of recon units. iHawks kept the sky clean, and so on. YPRs really good against enemy vehicle as well. So in general, a pretty good game. And yeah, clean one here with that. That means we have now a win and a draw. So our chances of making it into the playoffs pretty good. If we get one more map, we should be safe. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And yep, see you all in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to sign up for the Warner League, and see you all next time.